What's up, Arc Junkies? I hope y'all are doing extremely well and ready for this week's episode. Joining me this week is Scott, also known as Scooter Cantweld, but most known for his Instagram page and badass custom performance parts at Arc Enemy Fab. Scott is a self-taught welder who has an extremely dark and troubling past, but he fought through it and became an aerospace welder and started his own company building custom performance parts. In this episode, we talk about his path, his welding journey, the importance of weld quality, and much more. We'll get right into the episode after a quick word from our awesome supporters. Today's episode of the Arc Junkies Podcast is brought to you by Send Cut Send. Get your custom parts quickly and affordably with Send Cut Send. Since 2019, they've been revolutionizing the industry with their CNC laser cutting, water jetting, CNC bending, powder coating, anodizing, zinc coating, nickel plating, hardware insertion, and tapping services. With a wide variety of materials including metals, woods, and composites, Send Cut Send can ship orders within 1 to 2 days of receiving it. The process is simple and cost-effective. Draw up what you need, upload it to their website, select your finishing and machining options, and they'll ship the parts right to your door. And if you don't have CAD software, it's not a problem. Send Cut Send has many designs to choose from off their website, or you can work with their design services team to create exactly what you need. For welders, fabricators, and makers, Send Cut Send is the ultimate solution for custom parts. And right now, listeners of the Arc Junkies podcast can save 15% when you go to sendcutsend.com/arcjunkies. And don't forget to give them a follow on Instagram at sendcutsend for more updates. Send Cut Send, quality custom parts made easy and fast. We're also brought to you by Outlaw Leather. Looking for custom welding gear that stands out? Outlaw Leather has you covered. They're known in the industry for offering top quality, handcrafted leather welding hoods. Outlaw Leather brings any design you can envision to life, from sports logos to military insignias or custom logos. Their hoods are highly recommended for comfort and durability, perfect for the demanding work welders face. Every hood is carefully handcrafted in the USA, ensuring superior quality. Outlaw Leather also offers a range of welding equipment on their website from trusted brands like Snakebelly, FlameTech Scorpion, TechnoWeld, Weiler Abrasives, and more. And right now you can enjoy 15% off on all their in-stock leather goods when you use code word ARCJunkies in the discount box at checkout. Visit outlawleather.com to place your first order, and don't forget to give them a follow on Instagram at Outlaw Leather for their latest news and updates. Outlaw Leather, crafted with care, built to last. All right, you know what time it is. Fire up your machine, drop your hood, and turn me up 5.
Thank you for downloading show number 340 of the Arc Junkies Podcast.
You're listening to the Arc Junkies Podcast, helping you make every weld better than your last with each episode. And now your host, Jason Becker.
Scott, welcome to the Arc Junkies Podcast, man.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, it's my pleasure. So you're based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, right?
Yes, sir.
Why the hell would anybody want to live in Cincinnati? No, I'm giving you shit. I'm originally from Andover, Dorset, Ohio area, so probably
really?
like way far northeast. Yeah, up in Amish country, up by Pymatuning Lake and all that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been all over, man. East Coast, West Coast, South, North. I've been everywhere. I just came back home, miss being close to family and all that.
Yeah. You grew up in Ohio?
Yeah, born and raised in the Cincinnati area. Yeah, grew up pretty close to the city. It was it's a nice area. Just careful where you go.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been to Cincinnati. I've been to Cleveland. I've been to, what the hell's the other one? Menor. I've been to a bunch of different parts. I don't think I've ever been to Cincinnati, though.
Cincy's cool, man. It's come around a lot. Used to be real bad. Now, like over the Rhine, that's where all the riots were happening back in the 90s, I think. Early 2000s, something like that. No, late 90s. There was a bunch of riots going on down there, like half the city burned down. But now OTR's like, you go down there, it's like hipsters with their short pants and their fancy restaurants that are delicious.
Skinny jeans and
yeah, skinny jeans, but good food.
Gastropubs.
Yeah.
Gastropubs and IPAs.
Yeah, over hopped IPAs. It's not even an IPA anymore. It just hurts to drink it.
Yeah, there's a brewery down here. Damn, I can't remember the name of it. But they had this one called Devil's Chair IPA, and I just recently started getting into IPAs.
Yeah.
And, they said it's a double IPA. So I was like, oh man, that's got to be twice as good.
Oh
as
yeah,
a regular IPA. Holy shit, man. I took like one swig out of that and spit the rest in the sink. I was like, yeah, I
yeah,
can't do
man.
that. It's like drinking battery acid. It was just straight bitter.
Yeah, it'll give me a headache if it's too hoppy. So like IPA started. So me and my dad used to brew beer when I was young. Um, I'm pretty sure they put the extra hops in the IPA to help keep the freshness while it traveled across seas.
Makes sense because it's an Indian pale ale.
Right. So then, all these nerds today were like, hops. And then you drink it and you're like, this is delicious. And you can't even breathe. Like
Yeah, no, that's
no one's enjoying that. They're lying. They just want to be cool.
yeah. I like the hazy IPAs.
Yeah, those are good.
Those are
Those
pretty
are,
good. And
those
then
are pretty good.
what's the name of the brewery? It's up there in your area.
Ryan
I want to
guys.
say they're based out of Cleveland. No,
Oh,
they've got one called the Edmund Fitzgerald. I want to say is an IPA.
oh, I know what you're talking about.
Great Lakes Brewing Company.
Yeah, Great Lakes. Yeah.
Yeah, they got some good stuff.
Bell's out of Michigan's really good too.
Oh, I
Yeah,
haven't had them yet.
Bell's has. Yeah, I dabble in a little bit of beer here and there. I don't get to. I don't like go out and get hammered or nothing, but after a long hard day building headers or whatever, it's nice to sit back and crack a beer open and just relax.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do have a question for you. Is most of your career like in the pipeline industry?
No, I did the only pipe I ever did was handrail for the most part.
Oh, no shit.
Mostly structural steel,
Okay.
ornamental fabrication until I got into teaching welding, which I never thought in a million years I was going to be a
Yeah.
welding educator. I was like, man, I don't know enough about this shit to teach anybody anything.
Right. Yeah, I've never been to weld school. So like I have Arc Enemy that I do. I'm trying to make it full time, but my full time job is aerospace. Very, very large company. The site that I'm at, actually, I'm one of the first welders in like I think 70 years that hasn't been to weld school that's been hired in there.
Damn.
Which in that industry, there's oh, I think she's better than us. I don't. I might hit harder than you do, but I don't think I'm better than you. We there'll be times where people are having conversations and they'll bring up some like fancy terms. I'm like, what? And then they'll explain it. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, oh yeah, you didn't go to weld school, so you don't know. I'm like, no, I knew it. I just didn't know the term.
Yeah, I didn't know what you guys called it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
That's why there's standard terms and definitions, and then there's like
Right.
welder speak. You
Right.
got to be able to
Like
speak both at some point.
the thing that drives me the most crazy is this internet fad of weldor.
Oh yeah.
I'm the weldor and the welder is the machine. I'm like, dude, I see you guys at FabTech. I'm taking your lunch money. Like, I can't stand it, dude. It drives me crazy.
That was, I want to say, Austin, Dr. Welds. He mentioned it in, I think, a post because it was,
Weld.
there's a book called Metals and How to Weld Them. And he had pointed that out. And somebody, because he I want to say it was either a post or a comment that he made, and somebody
Yeah.
corrected him. And I was like, no, man, that's actually back in the day, like I would probably say 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
The person that was doing the welding was weldor, and then the
Right.
machine was the welder. But it's pronounced the same way. Like you call
Yeah.
a doctor, not the doctor. But
right,
yeah,
right,
no,
right,
I
right,
get it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just like I see, I'm sure like that's a legitimate term and that's cool and all.
But
But,
nobody's
like-
used it in 60 fucking years.
Yeah, I see it and I'm like, no, this is you just trying to be special and cool, and it's not. It's like wearing Chuck Taylors over Vans. Go home. Vans are superior. It's like, I don't know, man. It's one of them things that every time I see it, I'm like, effing nerd, and then I move on.
So what? So you didn't go to welding school. How'd you end up working? Like, how'd you learn how to weld? Let's start with that.
So my uncle was a Ford guy, and then his son, which would be my cousin, we got a 1930 Model A pickup truck, and obviously a lot of it is rusted the hell away. Well, this was way back in the day. I was 15 when this was going on. So my cousin was like with a little MIG gun, zap tacking these patch panels in and on the body work, and I was like, man, I want to know how to do that. So they were like, dude, it's real easy. Just point it and squeeze the trigger, and when it makes a little ball, stop. And I just kept doing that. And they're like, keep doing it till it's solid. So I did. And then, because, dude, that old sheet metal, it's so thin. And all these guys had, like my uncle and cousin, all they had was this little buzz box MIG welder. That's pretty much what you got to do so that metal doesn't end up like this.
Right.
So we're just zapping all the way around it, and then they're like, all right, now we're gonna grind it. I put a little 90 in my hand with some sanding discs, and I get it as flat as I can, and then they're showing me how to basically hammer and dolly, get everything as straight as you can again, and kind of just fell in love with it. And then I got my driver's license, and like at the time I was learning how to like make fenders and all the sheet metal work and bead rolling and all that. Then I got my driver's license and found girls, so that hobby was behind me.
Gone.
Yeah, bye. Yeah. So then it was just like partying and partying and partying harder, and then getting in the mix with the wrong crowds and severely disappointing my parents, and just got worse and worse and worse. And then I was like, man, I graduated high school, and I'm like, I need to get the hell out of here. Like, I need to get out of Ohio before I end up dead or in prison like all my friends are going. So I found a manual machinist apprenticeship job out in Vegas. And I was like, oh, this is a good idea. I'll get out of here. I don't know anybody in Vegas. What could go wrong? So I go out there, machinist work for like 2 years. And I'm begging the master machinist to teach me how to TIG weld, begging him, begging him, begging him. And one day he walks over to me. He goes, this is a Miller synchro wave. I'm like, all right. He's like, this is how you put your torch together. I'm like, okay. He's like, here's 15 pieces of tungsten. I had so-and-so cope a bunch of aluminum pipe for you. Your job is to every day for 1 hour after work is to weld all these coped pipes together and shut everything down, clean up, and lock the door when you leave or you're fired. And you get 1 hour. He's like, 1 minute passed, or you ever forget to not clean up or forget to lock the door up, you're gone. I'm like, all right. So after like 3 months of that, aluminum pipe, never TIG welded in my life, I was on like weld porn on Instagram, just constantly trying to watch
What's
how
this
everybody's
supposed to look like?
yeah. So then like I'm just like, okay, it's supposed to look like this. So I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And then he started bringing me butt joints to do. And he's like, all right, now you want your weld to kind of drop, and then you dab it and move. That's how you know it's penetrating. And I'm like, okay. So I just kept doing that and trying to make it look like all the stuff I was seeing on the weld porn page. Well, then one day he came to me and he's like, hey, I want you to go work for my friend shop over across town. They're making a staircase for Elton John's piano. He has a residency in town. I'm like, all right. So next thing I know, I'm in this ornamental shop doing all this really cool stuff. And then somewhere along the way, started partying again, like meeting all these people, started partying again. Things started getting pretty heavy with the partying. Next thing I know, it's like, there was this guy who wore a lot of blue. He's a big fan of the color blue, and he was named after a state. And he handed me $1,200. He's like, hey, if you drive up to LA to this address I give you and pick up some of these chicks and bring them back here for the weekend, this money's yours. I'm like, all right. He's like, just don't touch them. That's fine, dude. Let's do it. So I grab that money, drive up to LA to the address, pick up these people, and then come back, drop them off to him, get paid, get some pills. And it just kind of escalated from there. It just got worse and worse. Like, hey, so this person owes me money. He's going to be here at this time, at this night. Go knock him out. Bring back to me what he's got, and I'll give you half. Right? The 3 years before I met him, I didn't really have any friends out there, so I spent all my free time in an MMA gym. So next thing I know, I'm basically like a tax collector and transfer from this guy who wears a lot of blue out in Vegas. I'm like, I never really realized what I was doing. I thought like, no, I'm friends with this guy, and it doesn't really hit you till later, like what you're a part of and what you're doing. And basically, I was just getting used to take care of all the stuff that he didn't want to take care of. Like if I die or go to prison, that doesn't matter. So then a job hopped a couple more times, and then eventually quit working. Had a bit of a work injury, quit working. At this point, I'm just collecting money with so-and-so and doing what I can. Then I'm sleeping in my car. And then I get hurt again, leave the hospital, not, things aren't really going well. All my shit's gone. People I thought were my friends basically took everything I had, called my parents. I'm like, hey, I'm in a bad way. I need to get home. They wired me money right back to Ohio. And then shortly after that, met who I'm married to. Well, I think like 2 or 3 weeks we're getting married, but my soon to be wife.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a lot of, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that I don't really want to get into. And, you know,
That makes
obviously I don't
sense.
want, yeah, put it out there on the internet. There's pretty rough things, that happened in that 5 year span that I was out there where I was trying to get away from all this stuff. And then all the same people come around. What a lot of people don't get is you're not escaping them. You need to escape you. Like you're the magnet that's attracting all the stuff. Like you have to reach inside, change yourself, or all those things are going to keep coming back to you. Yeah, I've been stabbed, been shot at, been left in the desert. I've had people across the table that are scary looking individuals tell you, hey, just because you're across the border doesn't mean my hand can't reach you. It's like, I just thought I was along for the ride. Come to find out, like, no, you're in the middle of all this. Like, you're part of this. You're not just hanging out. Like, this is your life now too. But yeah, came home, got right back in the trades. I didn't really party a whole lot when I first moved back home, a little bit here and there. And then I met my old lady and she had a kid. And it was like, I went to this girl's hair salon that I grew up with. And I'm sitting there getting my hair cut and I see in the mirror a chick's butt in yoga pants. And I'm like, damn. And see my friend Caitlin, she turns me around. She's like, hey, this is Tori. I was like, it was one of those like, you look up and it's like, take my breath away, like from the movies. Yeah,
From the
I swear, man.
1980s, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like that. So I messaged her. She's like, yeah, I do massage therapy, hairstylist, blah, blah, blah. So my dumbass messages are like 2 weeks later on Facebook, like, hey, shoulder's been hurting. Can I get in for a massage? And she's like, no. Yeah. And then here we are 9 years later. She has a kid. We have a kid together. It's been a wild ride, man. We've been through it all. We like literally, we've been through it all. Me and her come from the same walk of life. Yeah, if it weren't for her, I wouldn't be here.
It's good you found her.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, because it was like I saw her and I'm like, all right, well, I got to impress her. So I better clean my shit up pretty good. And then it's like, oh, she has a kid. So I have to set an example too. And everything just kind of started clicking in my head. And then I had a shitty job. I think I was making like $19 an hour. And her aunt worked for this same aerospace company, but at a different shop. She's like, hey, the shop over there is hiring. And I'm like, dude, I don't know anybody. And this is how this place is. Like, if you don't know anybody inside, like, there's no getting in. And I'm like, I'll never be good enough to work at an aerospace shop. And my old lady was like, dude, if you don't apply, like, you're a fucking idiot. So I applied, and yeah, it was like, well, who do you know that works here? Like, how'd you know we were hiring? I was like, I don't know anybody that works here. My old lady's aunt works at the one like across town. And they didn't even know who she was. She was I think she basically just like took garbage out or something like that. Like she was like a janitor over there or something. I'm not really sure exactly what she did. Jobs there are weird. Like there's all the union stuff, all kinds of different
Different code classifications and all that.
Right. And they're like the guys that were interviewing me, there's 2 salary people and 3 hourly people, and the hourly people kind of chuckled. And then they started asking me a bunch of questions, and they liked what they heard. And then we went down into the basement area, and I did my weld test, and they were like, damn, good job. And then they gave me a couple more, and then the next day they called me and offered me a job.
What'd your weld test consist of?
So the first shop I started out was a 5F, the 30,000th plate straight up, and then the 030 tube coming off of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like tube to plate weld?
Yeah, tube to plate. They called it 5F because plate was like
Yeah.
this, tube was like this, no burn through bottom or inside. Um, and then there was some what's the 45? Is that 6G?
Yeah, 6G.
All right, so the 6G quarter-inch tube. There was 2B, which is stainless, and then 3B, which was Inconel, and then there was a titanium one. Um, but there was a thin wall and a thick wall of each. And it's just a little quarter-inch tube, and then they had to ball drop them, make sure there wasn't too much push through, because that was the test to be able to weld the fuel lines on the jet engines. You know, you got too much push through, the pressure can't get through, and I think those things see like 30,000 psi.
Yeah, it creates like a turbulence inside the tube.
Yeah, exactly.
Starts throwing shit haywire.
Yeah, like putting I was trying to like I built a lot of turbo kits for. I mean, this is a 632 big block. It's just getting headers, but like a lot of my clients make like 2,000 plus horsepower, and I try and explain to them like the way that airflow works. Like think of a river, take a smooth flowing river, and then dump a boulder on the side of that river. It creates all that turbulence and all the waves and everything. So you want everything to be as smooth as possible. But yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, those were those weld tests, and then I transferred over to the shop that I'm at now because it's a big money shop. And their tests, man, were like, I think it was what is that material? 267, 287, real dirty stainless.
I've
Was
never
it?
messed with it.
I'm getting it wrong. I can guarantee you I've got the numbers wrong. Stainless Inconel, butt welds and T-joints. Like, I think they were like 9 inches long or 12 inches long, something like that. But it's all butt joints, vertical, 6G, flat, horizontal. I was like, this is gravy compared to the weld test I had to take at the other shop. But
Yep.
it was weird too because it's like, oh, this shop I make like 3 times as much as I was at the other one, but the weld tests are so much easier. But the technical side of things was a lot worse. Like we had to take a written test to get in the door, and it's a lot of CWI information. And dude, I ain't been to weld school, so I ain't no CWI. I'm gonna be honest, I guessed on a lot of that stuff.
I was gonna say, how'd you manage that one?
Yeah, I got in, and what's funny too is like, so I've been at this shop for 6 years now, and I was just talking to our weld engineer the other day because they passed up my buddy for the weld test. He's like, dude, he fucked up on the written test. I was like, dude, I guessed on half of that. He's like, there's no way. I'm like, Jamie, I've never even been to weld school. How do you think I knew all that information? I didn't. I guessed. Like, you think I know what color bands on tungsten are? I know we use red here and I use green at home. I don't know what blue and yellow and all this other stuff is. I guessed on all that information. Yeah, he was all pissed off. Guessed on all this, and you're here. I'm like,
Well,
I'm your
that's the
go-to
thing too,
guy.
because like just going to welding school does not make you an excellent welder, because
No.
there's a lot of shitty welding schools out there. There's a lot of great welding schools out there. There's a lot of great welding schools that they don't get into the technical information. There's a lot of shitty welding schools that that's all they do is go over the technical information, and the kids come out and don't know how to weld. Very
Yeah.
few and
Oh
far
yeah.
between are you going to learn the actual skill set plus all the terminology and all the theory
Right.
behind it.
Oh yeah, dude. I noticed too, like in the local bar groups, someone will tag Arc Enemy Fab or my page, and every time I go in there, I'll scroll the comments, see who else is getting tagged to do this work, you know. And every time I see a guy go in there and put like, "Oh, I can do it. I'm a certified welder," blah blah blah. Every time they're crap. Every time I'm a professional welder. I'm certified. They're always junk. Like, what is this nonsense? Like, dude, those welds are so strong, they got muscles to prove it. Like, it's pretty rough, man. I mean, I don't know. I've never once jumped into a comment section or a conversation like I'm the best guy there, because I'm not. Like, you go to my page, I know I'm good. I know I'm really good, but I also know people that are better than me. And I talk to them all the time, trying to get on their level. Like Atlas Motorsports, I'm pretty sure he's in New Zealand. Dude, that guy, I'm pretty sure he's like part robot or something. Like he's so good, and every weld is the same every time. It's stupid consistent.
I don't think I've come across his stuff yet. You
Oh
said
my God.
Atlas Motorsports?
Hmm.
That's probably what it is. I follow more welding stuff than I do like motorsports and cars and all that stuff. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's Atlas dot Motorsport.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
That's probably too bright.
Kind of, yeah. I'll check him out.
Yeah, yeah. Look, dude, it's really nice stuff. He's super good. I've actually like everything that I do. I'm trying to model after how he's doing it because I right now I think he's the best out there. So I'm trying my best to be exactly like him.
I seen a guy. I can't remember. Hopefully, this reaches somebody who knows. There's a guy out. I want to say in England, and he does. He builds motorcycle frames. Not that I'm big into motorcycle frames, but he does oxyacetylene brazing because apparently,
What?
when you braze the motorcycle frame, it allows more ductility, so the
Yeah.
frame will actually twist. With the welds will twist with the frame because of the ductility and still be able to spring back. And the guy welds like a freaking robot. And I saw it and
That's
didn't follow him.
insane.
And this was years ago, but I can't figure out who the hell this guy is. And I would
Man, I
love
need
to
to
chat
find
with him
him.
because nobody
Yeah.
does oxyacetylene brazing on, to make it look it looks like
Oh
the
yeah.
TIG welds that you're putting down on the titanium. It's insane.
Right.
It's sick.
Dude, so I had to learn how to weld cobalt being in aerospace, which is it's the weld test I think is a lot harder than any of the work that we ever had to do. And I think it runs like water, but then had to learn how to torch braze with 24 karat gold wire and torch braze. And be honest, man, making torch braze look good is kind of hard. Like it's pretty like as soon as that wire touches anything, it just wets out and goes everywhere. But we were like doing slip joints and brackets and stuff like that on engine parts. I don't know nothing about doing motorcycle frames. I'm not a big like guy either. I honestly don't even really like motorcycles that much, other than when they're 12 o'clock and super loud. And then I'm like, yeah. Other than that, I'm like, oh, cool.
So
Motorcycle.
how'd you get back into like motorsports? Because obviously you're doing that's kind of you got your day job where you do aerospace, and then
Yeah.
you've got your side gig going.
Yeah, so I've always really been into cars, like big time, especially my dad. Like I'm pretty much a product of my environment, man. I was real little and we were going to like mini truck and lowrider shows and stuff like that. And he's trying to take pictures of me with chicks at these shows and my mom's getting mad about it and blah blah blah. But just grew up in the stuff, man. I've always really liked it. I've always been a huge fan of rally cars. So like all I ever wanted to do when I was a kid was build cages and like turbo manifolds and stuff in rally cars. Like I just thought this stuff was really cool. Like he took me to a stage rally one time. I think that's where we went. I don't know. There's some off-road vehicle that had like this crazy manifold inside of it, like the Medusa stuff everywhere, and then this big turbo and all the piping everywhere. And I was like, I want to make that stuff. Like that's cool. These cars are loud, they're stupid fast, and they make all the cool sounds. That's all I ever really wanted to do. So I started doing little stuff for like my own cars, and then like once I got into the aerospace stuff, 'cause it's all like the shop I was in was all tubing work, which correlates perfectly to cars. And I'm like, dude, if I'm doing stuff like that, it'd make all the car stuff super easy, and it has. Because being in aerospace, I've learned a lot about like compressed air, hot air, air speed velocity, how air works when it goes from hot to cold through everything into the engine, blah blah blah. So I'm doing stuff for myself, and then I have a buddy hit me up, and he's like, "Hey, I'm putting an air to water intercooler setup on my drag car, and I don't have any room to put it in the engine bay, so we're gonna go through the firewall in between the driver and passenger seat, and then to the air to water cooler and back." It was a super cool setup, and people don't know turbo cars need to cool the air basically, and an air to water cooler means the turbo compressor side of the turbo sucks the air in and it goes through basically like a ice water chilled tank. Keeps the boost super cold. But I built that in his car and people like kind of freaked out about it. And then next thing I knew, I'm booked out for like a year doing cages and turbo kits and cars. And then I had like a couple parts that I made of my own that I sell on a website and stuff like that. And trying to branch that out more. I've got some stuff in the works in R&D right now. And I don't know, it just kind of happened, man. At first I was like, I just want to build cool stuff with cool people. And now it's like, I go to like big races and people are like, oh, dude, it's Scott from Arc Enemy. And I'm like, how do you know me? Because I've known I've known who you are my whole life. Like, why do you know who I am? It's pretty cool. It's been fun, and it's still that way. I just want to do cool stuff with cool people. But now it's like, hey, this might be something. So let's push it and see where it goes. And maybe one day I can be like some of my heroes and clock out for the last time and work for me. That's the dream,
You getting pretty close to that goal?
Pretty close, yeah. I mean, last year I was like 30,000 under last year what I make at the day job. Which is, I mean, that's close, but that's the thing is like health insurance and kids. I mean, I know at first I'm going to take a big pay cut, but we got kids and we need health insurance, and that stuff, man, it's not
Last I checked, by any stretch of the imagination.
No, last I checked, like the plan that gets close to what we have now, like through my job, just to get somewhat close to that, I think it's like 17,000 for the year.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I want to say at the school that I was at, I think they paid my entire insurance, which was like $1,800 a month, but it was allegedly the gold standard. And then to add my wife and kids, it was like $1,600 a month.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
This dude,
insurance is crazy.
Yeah, the healthcare system is awesome. I mean, everything's kind of a mess right now, but it is what it is. I try not to get too involved in all that stuff because I just find myself getting pissed off every time, and that's not healthy.
I want to say that they've got for like small businesses, you can do like a co-op or a network or something like that. You get involved with a bunch of other small businesses, and everybody kind of pitches in. Whereas like a big corporation, they're like, we need 6,000 policies. Well, you can link up with another bunch of smaller independent operations, and to get together collectively, you're part of that type deal. Yeah. And it's supposed to be a little bit more affordable.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff going on, and I've met quite a bit of other small business owners, and we've all talked about a lot of that stuff, and it's just things I haven't really dove too much into yet because I'm not there, but there's some things that I have in the works for the next year that I think could really blow the name up. And I'm hoping these plans work, because like what would be really cool is to land like a white label gig, like one of these big name companies, like, oh, we need you to build 1,000 intercoolers and a bunch of these and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like build parts for 90% of the automotive like companies out there that are like, oh, these are our intercoolers or our turbo kits built in house. No, they're not.
Yeah,
they're built by so and so. Yeah, they're built by so and so 2 or 3 states away. That's why they look so good, and then they get shipped. And it's like that white label manufacturing stuff. I do it. I've got stuff that I build for other shops. I just need a lot more of it. And then this shop right here is behind our house. It's 30 by 40, nothing special. We've only been here I've been working in here for like a month and a half. Like I don't even have my lift in here yet, or some ordering a new one, blah, blah, blah. But I land something like that, man, I'd go lease a commercial space tomorrow. The money's there to go get the commercial space like going. It's just, there's no point in going to grab it because essentially I'll be doing all the work that I do now just to afford the commercial space. Yeah. And all that's done is create a headache for me, because now like my wife owns a hair salon. So I've got kids with me a lot. So, having that commercial space not being at home, all that's done is create a headache for me. But yeah, who knows? Maybe all this stuff that I'm getting ready to do will work out and blow up, and I'll be able to land a big contract, or a shit ton of big money guys will reach out to me from like the radio world or whatever, and I'll be on my way after that. Who knows? We'll see.
Now, are you doing everything because you're running it like kind of as a side gig? Are you doing everything solo, or do you ever contract anything out, bring anybody on?
No, I tried doing that. I tried having there was a dude that I've known for a long time. I sent him some parts like tacked up so he'd see how they work, and then like I built him an extra jig, and everything he sent me was always like, "Hey, man, this looks like shit. Can't use it. You just wasted a bunch of my money. Thanks." And then there's some local guys that I know that can do what I do, just unreliable. Can't ever get them to show up. Oh, I go ride my motorcycle with my friends or whatever. Oh, I'm busy with the kids today. Like, all right. And like I offered to give them the profit out of it. I just needed help getting the stuff done. Like, hey, this is what I make on this part. I'll just give it to you. If you can come in here and get it done for me, because I have to work on this. It just never worked out. I don't know. It's hard to find people that are really hungry and want to make money today, I guess. And then the
It seems
guys
like the
that,
problem all over the industry.
yeah, but then the guys that are hungry and want the money, they're already doing what I'm doing. So I can't go hit them up. Like they got their own stuff. Like
Mm.
they're already doing well. I'm trying to get to their level, but everybody I talked to, they all did the same thing I'm doing. I'm just now 2 years into Arc Enemy, and everyone's like, "Yeah, dude, I had my full time job and then this thing for like 5 or 6 years before it took off." And I was like, "I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm tired. Like,
Yeah, I imagine.
yeah, trying to be a dad, working a full time job, working another full time job, trying to keep my wife happy. She hates when I say this, so I'm gonna say it. But as long as she's pretty cool. I just gotta feed and pet her every once in a while, and she lets me do whatever I.
I just had that conversation with my wife, but we've been together for 23 years. I was like, hey, babe, just give you a heads up. October is going to be like slap full. I got this, Fab Tech, all this other stuff
Yeah,
going on. I'm teaching a week-long class. And she's like, just keep money in the account, keep me up to date, and,
yep.
we're good to go.
Take me out to dinner every once in a while.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. We're guys like me and you are lucky because I know other dudes that are like, hey man, you want to go to the gun range this weekend? And they're like, well, I gotta talk to the. I can't. We got to go do this, and I'm like, you can't take 30 minutes out of your weekend to come with a dude you grew up with to the gun range for a minute because your wife said no. I'd have been like, well, I am. I'll be
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
We got my wife and I, a couple years ago, we got we have a shared calendar. So now it's
Yeah.
like first come, first serve. So if I got something, I'll put it on the calendar. Boom. Okay, it's there. And then,
Yeah.
obviously we'll talk afterwards. I put it on there so I don't forget, but it also lets
Right.
her know. But if something else more important comes up, we'll obviously sit down and talk about it. But yeah, I mean, we've got
Right.
a pretty good back and forth as to, but if she comes up with something, she's like, she puts it, literally writes it in the calendar. Don't make any fucking plans. Boom.
Yeah.
And I open up that date on the calendar. I'm like, nope, yeah, I can't make it that. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's
Yeah.
not what you guys are asking me to do.
Right. Right. No, I get it. That's actually a really good plan. I might have to let her know about that because I mean, we get along really, 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 really well. But that would save me a lot of, oh, you never told me that we were doing that.
Yep.
Because that happens a lot, dude. Or she's like, no, we had my sister's kid's birthday today. And I'm like, oh, I'm like getting ready to go to the racetrack here.
That's not
Yeah.
happening.
No. So I'm like, all right, well, for me, man, it's always families first. Like,
Yep.
last year I had a car, there was a deadline, like it had to be done for this and blah, blah, blah. And the guy showed up at our old place to see it. And I wasn't there. And he was like, hey man, you're supposed to be here. I was like, yeah, I got something going on with family. And he's like, well, like, are you going to have this done in time? I'm like, I'm planning to, but this family thing that I got going on right now, this takes precedence. If you don't like it, later on tonight, you can come pick your fucking car up and have somebody else do it. I don't really care. It's always family first, always.
Yeah.
And
It's
and
got to be.
again,
That's
like,
the reason you're doing everything.
yeah, exactly. And like, I'm doing Arc Enemy because I want to, not because I have to. So like, if anybody is like ever tries to tell me what to do, I'm like, I do this because I'm the boss, right? Like I do this because I don't like you don't tell me. I'm telling you. Like this is my jigsaw puzzle, but it's for you. But if you don't like the way that it's going, like, see ya. Find somebody else in the area that can do it the way that I'm doing it. Like you came to me for a reason. And not to sound cocky, but there aren't there's two places you can go in my area to get my level of quality, and they're both on opposite ends. And one of them is 3 times what I charge, and it has to be a full blown race car, cannot be a street car. And then the other guy, it can be a street car, but he's outrageously busy. I'm really busy too, but I'm a lot smaller than both of them, so I have a lot more leeway.
Got more flexibility in that.
Yeah, right. And neither one of them are aerospace guys. They're really, really good, and they're both really, really talented. I'm not saying that I'm better than either one of them. We're all in that top tier quality level, but good luck getting in the door with either one of them as fast as you can with me. So you're just going to kind of have to put up with the shit, man. It is what it is.
Well, that's the thing with custom work too. I mean, it's hard to find somebody, and then it's hard to find somebody good that can actually deliver it for a decent price.
Yep. There's actually, I might get some shit for saying this, but there was a accident in racing industry recently. We lost a really good dude. His cage failed. I mean, like, who's to say if it's the welder's fault or if it was just such an intense of an accident that's just what happened? But like, there's a guy local to me who will lay some dog shit in the joint of a chromoly cage, and then he'll set his machine to pulse and pulse back over top of it. And his heat affected zone. You think, man, some of these cages in this chromoly, like, I don't know why I can't think of the way. I mean, it's thin wall chromoly, man. Like, I'm sure you've seen roll cages before.
Mhm.
It's not big material, and his heat affected zone is like 2 inches away from the actual weld itself. And I'm like, man,
Jeez.
way to weaken the ever living. Like, these dudes are going 200 mile an hour, man. He's got a wife and kids, and this car is going to roll over, and the welds are going to fail because you just can't lay a good weld on the joints first. Then maybe you shouldn't be doing this. You're going to kill somebody because you just don't know what you're doing.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I'll just pulse over and wet it out, and then it'll look like dimes. But you just drop dimes the first time.
Yeah, don't make it look like it. Make it actually function
Yeah.
and do what it's intended to do.
Right,
That's the
before
thing
you
with
take
chromoly,
somebody's
'cause
dad
you can,
away.
yeah, you cook all the elements out of it that that give it its structural integrity.
Yeah, and what I was saying is, like, I'm not saying that that's what happened to this guy's car. I'm just saying, like, it's the cage failed.
It's
It
out there.
is it's just a possibility, and there's guys like that around that are doing that work. And you, the customer, you roll up there, pick up your low 4-second car, and you're like, oh, dude, these welds look sick, but you don't know what you're looking at. And you could be picking up your future death trap. Because, I don't know, man. There's a lot of hacks out there in the industry, and unless you're guys like me or you, it's hard for other people to tell who the hack really is.
Well, especially, I mean, if you're not in the welding industry, you don't know what to look for. You look at it, you're like, oh yeah, the cage fits inside the car. The welds look good. It's got that stack of dime appearance. It's got everything. It is checking all the boxes for somebody that doesn't know anything about welding. Like, I've seen a lot of really good looking welds fail because they were improperly done. I've got a company that they're coming up out of South Florida because we're going to develop some welding procedures. He showed me pictures of the welds that the employees are putting down. I'm like, yeah, the welds look good, but here's exactly how they did it, and that's why they're failing. Because they're doing the squirt gun technique, just bumping the trigger, and it looks like a stack of dimes, but I'm telling you right now, you're creating a stress riser every time they pull that trigger, and they're going around this tube, 60, 70 times. You got 60, 70 stress risers in there. But if you don't know what you're looking for, it looks good, but it's not going to function properly.
Nope. No, and then, penetration too. Like, yeah, man, you just drop some dimes across that joint, but is it all the way through? Is it going to hold once there's vibration and stress and all that stuff, or is it going to break in half? Like, we had, I worked in a component repair facility for a while, and there was this company called Chrysler with a K, and they built all these little fuel rails for some jet engine. I don't know. So like, all jet engines are round. So all the fuel rails kind of go like this in sections around these engines, and then there's little pigtails that come off with these ferrules, and there's a nut and tighten them in. Well, what happened is this little ferrule flange and then the tube that little weld joint, this company there was no full penetration. Like their welders were just basically pulsing around them, no wire, no nothing. Cause there's a little lip on these flanges. So I guess technically you wouldn't need the wires. You just consume the lip, well, whatever, but they weren't full pins. So like they had mechanics in the field using their thumb to push that ferrule in to line up to tighten the nut, and the ferrule would just break off from thumb pressure. And then they were having in-flight shutdowns because since they're not full pin welds, the 20,000 to 30,000 psi of fuel, it's finding its way outside of that weld, and they're running out of gas in the sky. Like, dude, these are passenger airplanes. There's human beings on them. Airplanes can't pull over on a cloud and wait for a tow truck, man. And that we recalled, I think it was like 12,000 fuel rails. And then that company never did anything for us again. Like, dude, like that's what I'm saying is like there's like roll cages, jet engine parts, car stuff, structural, blah blah blah. Like there's a lot of danger in this industry. Like you don't do your job right, like people can get hurt, people can die. Like you got to know your shit, and you got to do it the right way. You can't be pulsing back over it to make it look cool. And then the customer, doesn't know what they're looking at. They come in there and they just see all that blue on both sides of the joint. And they're like, good job, man.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. This segment of the Arc Junkies podcast is brought to you by Everlast Welders. Upgrade your welding game with Everlast Welders. Everlast offers a wide range of affordable, high-quality welding machines and plasma cutters suitable for every skill level and budget, including the all-new Typhoon. With fast, easy shipping and a 5-year warranty on all their IGBT inverters, you can trust Everlast for reliability and performance. And as a listener of the Arc Junkies podcast, you can get a free Nova foot pedal and TIG torch upgrade with the purchase of any machine that comes with a stock foot pedal. Just use Arc Junkies in the comment section at checkout. Visit everlastgenerators.com to explore their products and make your purchase today. Everlast Welders. Weld mean, weld green. Now let's get back to the show. My buddy calls it TIG dressing. So like if you put like a shit weld down, because I teach classes and students, they'll ask me all the time, they're like, hey, because they want to wash back over their welds, they'll put a weld down that doesn't, and they're students, it's all coupons and stuff, they're just learning. They're like, can I just weld right back over it? And I'm like, you can, but that's not a good idea. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You got to put it in there right the first time. So you want to make sure the base metal is prepped correctly. You want to make sure you get, work angle, travel angle. Those are probably the two biggest things that are going to make the difference in penetration or not. Because if you got your torch leaned all the way back, you're just skimming across the surface. You want to punch into the parent material. Yep.
Every time you arc up or heat that material up, you're changing the structural integrity of the material. And you heat something up over and over and over and over again, you're basically heat treating the parts. It's going to get hard and brittle. And then in like the structural world, there's a break, it'll fail. Or like the roll cage world, like that car rolls over at 200 mile an hour. Bye, homeboy's dead because you don't know how to do your job.
Turns into a beer can at that point.
Yeah, I do laugh a lot scrolling Instagram, dude. Like you see all these videos of guys like those Western Welding Academy guys. I'm sure they have a good program over there and everything, but like their videos are the corniest videos I've ever seen. I'm sure they're good people, and like that's awesome that they're like showing kids how to do this stuff and like getting people into our industry. Like that's good for you. But you get into them comments, man, and it's like you just walked through a war. Like people in there like sending hate from Australia. Like
jeez.
Like, why are you saying? I don't know, man. It's pretty funny. I commented on one of their videos and I was like, God, this is the corniest shit I've ever seen. And the guy was like, oh yeah, well, why don't you come out here and do it? And I was like, funny thing is I will, because I used to, and I'm pretty good at it. So, I mean, like, fly me out, dog. Let's go toe to toe. Because I just saw your video. It was cute. I don't know. But yeah, like their shirts that they have are pretty cool. That one dude that like slaps the kids up. His kid just laid like a bird shit weld on a pipe. And he's like, this is easily $65 an hour. I'm like, listen, you get fired around here for that. I
Good
feel
sales
like
pitch.
there's a lot of stuff, and
There's a lot of marketing. You got to take
Yeah.
everything on Instagram with a grain of salt. It's
Yeah, it's
everybody. Nobody shows their shit work. Nobody shows their failures. It's all this is perfect, or it's camera magic and it's made to look perfect.
right. So like a lot of my stuff is on a turntable, the little rotator, and with jigs and stuff, and I got all my tubes and stuff in there. And there's been some guys that have come in there like, "Oh, you're cheating." Oh, really? Oh, so this is like the turntable and everything is what makes this easy, right? Once you like my address for my business is online. Come out here during business hours and show me how easy this is. Go ahead. I'll pay you. Come out here and do it like I'm doing
If you
it.
can do it right, I'll split the profit with you.
Yeah, all the guys out there that are saying this shit's easy, come out here. You get 30 minutes. Give you some tubes with some bends. You set up and doing it like I'm doing it. And if you can do it within the first 30 minutes and you've never done it before, I'll give you $1,000 cash. Because I know you can't. This stuff's hard, man. But yeah, a lot of my stuff's done on the turntable with the rotator because, equal heat distribution all the way around. I don't have to stop.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to hurry, man. I'm on limited time here. So
time is money.
It takes an 8-minute weld or whatever it would take in 45 seconds. I can just sit there and spin it around. But I had a video. So I took a machinist indicator with the mag base where you turn the magnet on and off. And I took a piece of round stock and welded it to a bolt and threaded it in there. And then I got the little thing for my hand rest. Well, one time I must have been leaning on it too hard or something, but it was an old magnet and it let go and my tungsten went right into my weld. And I posted it. As soon as the tungsten goes into the weld, I did the Grand Theft Auto wasted thing. It happens, dude. I just made the biggest rookie mistake of all. I just threw my tungsten through a part that was done. Like this was the last weld and I was boxing it up and shipping it out. Now I have to do all this over again. Yeah, man, it was miserable. I was pretty upset about it. But yeah, I posted it. I have failures all the time, just like everybody else. I am not perfect. I fuck up every day.
I'm sure everybody does. That just doesn't make the cut. That doesn't get turned into a reel.
No, not at all. Why would I post everyday mess ups? And then people come to my page and be like, "What the hell is this?" You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. It's been a lot of fun though. That's for sure. It has. I used to do all the basically pressure vessels for oil refineries. The shop that me and some buddies worked for, and that was tough because it was owned by a mom and it was like a mom and pop shop. But like we're building pressure vessels for like BP and Phillips 66 and Chevron, and it was always like Gas Monkey Garage. Oh, we're 6 months behind and over budget. We got to get this done. And next thing you know, dude, like they're coming out in the shop at 5, like it's 4:55. We're all getting ready to leave. And they're like, "Hey, starting tomorrow, we're on 7/14 till this job's done." And we're like, no. And then it's not climate controlled, those big shops, because you can't be. So yeah, it's chafing for months on end. It just never goes away. No end in sight. Oh, fall's coming, and you're excited because it's cool in the shop. And the next thing you know, you're stuffing hand warmers
Freezing your
down your
ass
pants.
off. Yeah.
I used to do all that stuff, man, and like I did my time. I paid my dues. I did all the dirty stuff, and then I just got lucky. I walked into that interview for that aerospace shop, and now like I'll wear basketball shorts and a t-shirt to work year round. And it's like there's a guy just a couple weeks ago was like, "Well, I'm in the pipeline." It's like I made this much last week. I was like, same, and I wasn't even sweating. Like it was cold in here. I actually put on a long sleeve shirt. It was crazy. There's other ways to make that money, man. You don't have to be on the road. You just got to know where to go and like which shops will pay you to do it.
Yeah, that's kind of a double-edged sword. It's like for your area, I mean, if you have that manufacturing facility there, you've got that opportunity. But like down here, like
right.
I would have to move out to the Space Coast to make that kind of money, and I don't want to make that 2-hour trek. I'm in like Orlando area. So we've got we've got SpaceX, we got Blue Origin. I mean, allegedly they pay well. I've never received a paycheck from either one of them. But
I got a buddy
they
at
work
the
ridiculous
Florida.
hours.
Yeah, so my buddy's with Blue Origin over there in SpaceX, and I know he walked in the door like 45 an hour.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely, between the overtime and the pay rate, you can clear six figures. But you know, it's like working in a freaking Amazon warehouse. I mean, they're gonna work you. You're gonna earn that money, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, I want to earn my paycheck at the end of the day like everybody else, but that's just not for me in my stage of life right now.
Yeah, no, like that. I'm thankful that I have my job that I'm at right now because it's that money. But like, if you know, it's not a sweatshop because it's all component repair. So like this part comes in and it took you 30 minutes to fix it, but then this part came in and you're on it for a week. So if you're having a bad day, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Like I haven't seen a boss and he texts me, "You need anything?" No. Well, if you do, give me a call. All right. Yeah, I mean it's not. And then I know people that have worked at the SpaceX places, and they all call it Slave X. They said it's like whip crackers and crazy stuff. Like I'm 34 years old. I don't need you coming over here telling me what I need to do each day. What I'm supposed to get done each day will get done. Go away. I'm an adult. I'm not gonna be treated like I'm 15 anymore. That's why I work where I work, and that's why I'm trying to get this off the ground. I know what I need to do, man. Get away from me. I'm not.
You got to admit, there's some 34-year-olds out there that need that kick in the ass still because they haven't been through everything. You know, they've been kind of handed everything, and they've got that sense of entitlement, and it's a different world out there.
Yeah, like I know a shit ton of people like that. I've got people that I grew up with that are still in that same walk of life, being stupid, and then I got others that got out of it, but they're idiots. You know, they're still working these dead end jobs and like wondering why they're not getting paid more money. But why? Why would you like? Oh, this guy barely tipped me. Like, bro, you're delivering pizza. Of course, you're not making good money. You got to go get a better job. You know, like I grew up, it was all you need to go to college or you're going to be a loser. Nope. I was rebellious, man. Like, dude, I was the worst. Like there were times all my friends were older. So like Friday, get out of school. I just never come home. And then like my mom called me Saturday afternoon, like, where are you? Like, I'm in Detroit. I'm 4.5, 5 hours away with some friends. Like, what are you doing out there? Don't worry about it. And I just hang up my phone. You know, like I only had a cell phone when I was younger because my parents needed to know where I was because I'd end up in Miami, Florida, or Alabama. Like I'm a minor. I would just disappear with these older people that I was hanging out with. Can't remember where I was going with that, but so my dad was always like, "Oh, you need to go to college. You're going to be a loser. Go to college. You're going to be a loser." And then I remember when I took that apprenticeship as a machinist, he was like, "You're so stupid." Because at the time I had a pretty cushy job, working for Ready Lift Suspension, and took that job. And my dad's like, "You're being a machinist. How stupid are you?" Because back then it was different.
Yeah.
And now like I'm making more money than like people that I grew like my buddy. I'm not going to say his name, but I grew up with him. His wife's a registered nurse. We've talked. I'm clearing what she's making, and she's got student loans. Like I made him eat his words, but yeah, there was no college for me or like I've always had that problem with authority, dude. Just punk rock OG. Don't tell me. I've always been that way, and it's paid off. I'm happy where I am, but yeah, dude, there's people out there that they need that kick in the ass. Like you need to get up and do something with your life.
Yep.
Everybody expects everything to just be handed to you, and it's not that way, man. We live in a cold world. You have to get it.
Well, especially nowadays, like everything's becoming like so convenient. You want food, you can DoorDash it. You forget something at the store, Instacart. You want to watch something on demand, boom, pull up 30 of your streaming services. Everything's right here, right now. Nobody has freaking patience anymore. That is a virtue that is like completely obliterated in our society. Nobody has patience for anything.
Oh
Everybody's
yeah,
in a
yeah.
rush.
Yeah, I caught myself the other day. There's this place down the street. They do these pizzas that are some of the best pizza, and I've been all over the country. It's some of the best pizza I've ever had. And I wanted it really bad, but I just got done working out here and it was hot and I was tired. And I'm like running on 3 hours of sleep. And I'm like, man, I really want pizza from Max, but I don't want to go there and get it. So I pull up DoorDash and then my family's hungry. So I go to order 2 large pizzas. Next thing I know, dude, the bill's like $75 with tip for
Oh yeah.
pizza.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm like, no. So I deleted the DoorDash app, hopped in the truck, and drove up there and picked it up. And I come home $35. I spent
It's
35 bucks and I
insane.
had to drive. I had to drive
Yep.
10 minutes and then 10 minutes home.
It's that convenience
I'm
fee,
like,
man. It's damn
yeah,
near. So when you do all that, like DoorDash and all that, it's damn near double the price between, because you pay that convenience fee for, them bringing it out to you. Then you pay a delivery fee and all these other fees. And it's like, damn, it's an inconvenience, it's a pain in the ass. I got to put on some shoes and hop in the car
yeah,
for 15, 20 minutes, but fuck, I'm going to save $75.
yeah.
But you don't think
And I
about that when you got that app in front of you and you're watching your favorite show and, everybody's all sit back,
kick
relax. We're like,
back
we
and
DoorDash
yeah,
once a week. And it's like,
yeah,
it's more of like a treat than anything because, like, I don't have to get up and do anything. And my wife's,
yeah,
there's one day a week that she doesn't cook and I'm cool with that. Like,
yeah.
I'm off, she's off. Like, yeah, let's fuck it, DoorDash it. We can,
Right,
we can afford it. It's a
right.
convenience. Yes.
Yep.
But not like all the time.
No, and that's where I drew the line. I'm like, dude, I went and picked up 2 large pizzas and a 2 liter from Max before, and it wasn't $75. So I'm like, I'm not, there's no way, dude. Like, yeah, we could afford that. No problem. But I was like, no, it's the principle of this
Yeah.
matter. Like, this is out of control. Like, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. But yeah, man. And then I think another thing with this generation is that scrolling thing,
Oh, the attention span.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, I have my cousin here. I have two younger cousins that are, they're in the welding in the welding game now, and they both have one's a union pipe fitter. He's I guess he's having a good time. And then the other one, he's non-union. He's working at, I'm not exactly sure what the shop does that he works at, but I know he's doing a lot of MIG welding, heavier stuff. But I had the one cousin over here and we were messing around with my turntable because he thought this stuff looked cool and wanted to try it. And next thing I'm talking, he's over there on his phone. I'm like, I'm fucking talking. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm like, you got better things to do? You get out of here, go home. Then, have more fun with it, whatever that was. Obviously, it's more important than like maintaining eye contact and have a conversation. You got to pull your
Oh
phone
yeah,
out and check
it's
it.
an impulse, and then people get lost in it. You get like a little
Yeah,
buzz in your pocket, and you're like, "Oh, I need to check that." Next thing you know,
yeah,
you're 5 apps deep, and you're scrolling on something, not even paying attention to what's going on.
yep.
It's
It's like
insane. That's the worst
it.
thing that's happened to our society is cell phones and
Yep.
instant access to communication worldwide.
The next best thing is one flick away,
Exactly.
and it's
It's a
it's
dopamine hit
insane.
every
Yeah,
single time. It's a dopamine hit.
I noticed too, man. I caught myself a couple months ago. I was doom scrolling in the bathroom on Instagram, scrolling reels, and like I noticed like I couldn't sit there and make it through 30 seconds of a dude explaining something. I was like, man, I'm like, hold on a minute. Listen,
Yep.
don't become part of the problem. Listen to what this guy's saying.
I think
Yeah, and
the average attention span now is about 8 seconds, which just baffles
yeah,
me.
yeah. I made an announcement post from my Arc Enemy Facebook page, like people that are waiting on parts, like, hey, this is getting done. This car right here is getting done before I work on anything else. If you've got orders on my website that you're waiting on and you feel like you can't wait a couple weeks, then ask for a refund. The website will refund you, and so long. Don't care. Um, but I made that post, and some dude messaged me, and he goes, "Hey, what's the Arc Enemy post about?" And I was like, "Did you
Watch
read
it.
it?" No, it's too long. Okay. Well, if you all the information you need is right there, so go back to the post and read it because I'm not going to explain it. And then like a week later, he's like, "I finally read it, man. I'm sorry." I'm like, on the screen, man, it's like this long. is a single paragraph. And these guys can't sit through that 4 sentences. It'll make you sick.
Yeah. But I mean,
It's
like we
God,
grew up in a time where we didn't have access to that, and now we do, so we can kind of see the before and after. But I like if you grew up with that, I mean, that's why parents have to do screen time and all that stuff. Like we got cutoffs for our kids because I'll get distracted with something, and it's like, oh shit, they've been on their iPad or their computer for 6 freaking hours. No.
yeah.
We're gonna cut way back on that. Go read a book, get your homework done, do your chores. I drag them to work with me because like I've got my business set up, so anytime I'm able to, I take them to work with me. Look. This is what a good job looks like. Here's take pride in everything that you do because they don't get that. They want to get the whatever the task is. I'm going to get that done and half-ass it so I can get back onto my device. And it's like, well, you guys are going to suck once you hit the workforce.
Oh, dude. So we, my old lady's son, my stepson, we have a 16-year-old and a 7-year-old. 7-year-old's mine. But my stepkid, he started his own lawn care company. He calls it Yardcore, which is really cool.
Love that.
Yeah, and like his logo is like this monster man, like sort of Rat Finkish, like Rat Fink, with like the rat and the hot rod lifting all the way up here to the shifter. It's similar to that, but he's on a zero turn, and it's called Yardcore Lawn Care and Landscaping. But he needed a vehicle, and he went and he started out in our old neighborhood. He went and got a job at Kroger, saved up his money. Kroger's a grocery store. Similar to what do you got down there in Florida?
Publix.
Yeah,
they're not on the same
Publix.
plane. Yeah. We got Kroger down here. They only do delivery.
Oh, that sucks. So he got a job there, bagging and doing carts. Bought his own zero turn. And then bought a badass leaf blower and a push mower. And then I gave him like my weed eater, and I'm like, just take care of my yard too. But then like, he's like, hey, I'm going to buy a van. Like it's this service van and a trailer. So me and his mom chipped in half on everything. And then I just took him to my buddy's shop, hour and a half north, and he just bought a Silverado from him.
Nice.
Himself. Bought the truck himself. He's 17. But I mean, the truck was only $4,000. I mean, it needs some work, but like he wasn't 17 years old buying a truck, running a bit like on my own, but like running my own business and everything. And he's just as busy as we are. So like our youngest, he fucks around a lot, plays games, but he's more of an outside guy. Like we got 2.5 acres back in the woods, and we got a creek that runs through our property. And I'm telling you, that kid has me out in that creek all the time. Or like just running the property, and we got chickens, so he like wants to chase the chickens around. He's a lot more outside than anything, but that poor kid doesn't have a chance. He doesn't stand a chance, dude. He's growing up. His mom's a business owner, extremely successful. His older brother's a business owner, and his dad's a business owner and a workhorse. So I mean, I'm just hoping he follows suit and grows up and just becomes a badass, which I'm sure he will.
It'll happen. You get some late bloomers and stuff. But I mean, and it takes them to be surrounded by people like that. Because like we were talking about, everything online is instant gratification. You got so many kids that want to grow up and they want to be a YouTuber, they want to be a podcaster. Like there I am. I never set out to be a freaking podcaster. But you've got all these people that, they've got this alleged influence, and so, they want to do all this shit, but you don't see the other side of that coin.
Right.
Like that's all they see is like, instant gratification, and they don't see the end result. They don't see the hard work that goes behind it. They're just like, oh, Mr. Beast has got like 10 million followers and this, that, and the other. So they only see like that celebrity status. They don't see the work that it takes to get there. Right.
Like, dude, there's people all the time that are like, dude, you start a YouTube channel, all the stuff that you're doing. I'm like, dude, I don't want to be putting a set of headers together and like have to set up a camera and talk to it. Like, you know how awkward that is? I would love to be Cletus McFarland, making millions of dollars talking to a camera and posting the video and just doing whatever the hell I wanted all day. But dude, I'm gonna be honest with you, in today's world, like if you're not already in the YouTube stuff, like I'm pretty sure you missed the train. It's like Bitcoin. Like if you didn't buy into it back then, man, it's gone. It's done. Like being able to trying to find a way to get monetized on YouTube right now and grow to that level is impossible. Yeah. Like you have to find that perfect niche, and like especially in like my world, like the race car industry. Good luck being a nobody and like trying like me. I'm a no one. Like no, they're all the people that know all the guys that do what I do, but have been around forever. Like those guys could pop up and start a YouTube channel and start making money off of it. But I don't think guys like in my position that no one knows. I think that train's gone. I do. I think it's over with.
It's a possibility, but I mean, you got to think about it. Cletus was at your point at one point in time, and then he kind of came
YouTube
up with
wasn't what it was back then.
Exactly. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a cool, channel to, share this, that, and videos and stuff like that. And then people started figuring out a way to produce it, monetize it, better sound, better audio, this, that, and everything. And now to try to break into it, I mean, it would be, you'd play hell trying to do it. I think it still could be done, but it's not gonna be that slow, organic approach like it's always been. Because you got to come up to the same level that everybody else is producing right now just to get recognized and noticed. Right. Otherwise, you get that 8-second time span that people just you didn't catch my attention in 8 seconds. Boom, on to the next one.
Here's another guy trying to put a turbo in a car. Who cares? Yep. Oh, another burnout. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, you gotta get everybody's attention in a way. And then there's one guy with a pretty fast car. He had like a character that he was doing for a while, and then like he just posted like, I'm tired of this. Like I don't want to do the character anymore. This is miserable. I hate it. And then like his subscriptions were like, it's like, oh well, looks like that's all you had. Like it's, I don't know. It's the whole society that we live in. I feel like is just like morally bankrupt and. It's kind of wild. Everything's going on. Yeah, for the time being. But it's going to take something pretty big to get all that back.
Yeah, I mean everything ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
it's just depend. It depends on when it's going to come back and return. I think eventually there'll be a resurgence. It's it's give and take. It's different, and it's like we're changing so fast as a society. You don't know what's coming next. You can't kind of pre-plan any of that stuff. It's like you said, like getting in on Bitcoin. I laughed at one of my students back in 2016. He's like, "Hey, Mr. Becker, I'm going to get into this Bitcoin. I'm going to put $100 a week in." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Good for you, George." And
did he keep doing it?
I would imagine so, because he's got that like I don't care mentality about like anything, and he's hanging out with celebrities and all. Like I ran into him at I seen him at the Post Malone concert. I didn't even recognize him. I was like, holy shit.
No way.
I mean, he's got his stuff together.
All that Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah. He's still got daytime job and all that stuff, but he is not hurting whatsoever.
That's awesome.
But at the time, I was like, okay, good for you, bud. You're going to invest in some sort of currency that doesn't exist on paper. It's not tangible. It's electronic.
Yeah.
And now you look at it, and it's like $40,000 a Bitcoin. You're like, holy shit. If he bought like 3 of those, he's doing like way better than anybody who never invested. I guarantee it.
I traded 1,000 Bitcoins back when it was like this isn't going anywhere thing.
Yeah.
I traded 1,000 Bitcoins for a bag of Coke.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was up my nose in one night.
Gosh damn.
Yeah, and I look back on it now, like there's people, I bet he's kicking himself in the ass. I'm not. Like, yeah, dude, it'd be super cool to have whatever 40,000 times 1,000 is.
Yeah,
it'd be sick. But like, it is what it is, dude. I missed out. I fucked up. I was in a bad spot. I was doing stupid crap. But like, who knew? Who knew that was gonna be some of the digital currency back then? I was like, okay. And some like my dude, I'll give you this bag of Coke for that Bitcoin. I was like, okay. And we had a hell of a time.
For a night.
Yeah, for 12 hours. Yeah, I'd be having a lot more fun right now. I probably wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't be on doing this right now if I had
400 grand. You'd have a bigger shop.
Oh yeah,
and employees.
I'm not doing a fucking podcast. Yeah, we were on our way home. We took our dog to the vets. He thought he had bone cancer. Thank God we got good news today. But we were on our way back, and I was like, oh yeah, I got to do that podcast today. And she was like, are you excited? I was like, I'm kind of scared about it. I'm going to be talking to some guy and then he's going to put it on the internet. Like a lot of people listen to that. Yeah, kind of nervous. I was like, I kind of told him that I had a pretty wild story and I'm going to tell him some stuff, but I can't get like too in depth with it. Like if you want to talk later and you want to hear some shit, I'll tell you some shit. But I don't want to put too much of it out here and start getting judged from across
No,
the
I
country.
don't blame you. You got to be careful with
Yeah.
what you put out there nowadays.
Yeah, like there's some stuff that I did back there, man. Like probably shouldn't be here anymore for it. You know, I'd probably be in prison for a lot of the things that I was around. But thank God I'm not because I really turned myself around. But yeah, you got to be careful what you put on the internet these days. You can't just be out there blurting around all the stuff that happened because you never know.
Yeah. No, I mean it's
Yeah.
a good thing you kind of got straight, got back home, and kind of got your head back on a swivel and put your nose to the
Yeah.
grindstone, met the right person, and kind of settled down and got your shit together. And I mean, it seems like you're doing really well for yourself. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
good.
I mean, I just work really hard. You know, I don't go out to the bar with friends because some guy will get tough and I'll just hit him. You know, I don't play around like that. I don't, all the yapping stuff. I don't do all that, but I don't go to bars and hang out because I know what the potential is at a place like that. I don't get shit faced at home because I have responsibilities. Like I have things that I have to take care of. I have people that are counting on me and like, dude, I don't have anybody to fall back on. I am the backup.
Hmm.
Like I don't have anybody that I can pick up my phone and be like, "Hey dude, I'm in trouble. I need help." No, I'm that. Like I'm that for my family and pretty much everybody around me. So like I can't fuck up. I've got way too many people that are like relying on me to do the stuff that I'm doing. And then like the clients too, like they're waiting on me. They're waiting on their parts. Like they're relying on me to get their stuff done. So I can't be out there messing around. And I think I think subconsciously I set my life up that way to be too busy to think about it because I just had surgery. Emergency. Did I already talk about this?
Not on the show.
Okay, so this new to me shop is behind our house. We just bought this property end of May, back in the woods, and it had a shop on it because I was looking at commercial leasing, and thank God I didn't have to do that. This actually turned out to be everything that I currently need. Um, but I had emergency surgery, and when you wake up from being cut open, like you're on drugs, and I was on fentanyl. And
Jeez.
yeah, I woke up feeling great.
Peachy keen.
And then, yep, yeah, had pain pills for the rest of the week. And when I came off all that stuff, like all I could think about was going to getting high. So I told my wife everything. Like, hey, this is what's going on in my head. Super depressed. I'm thinking some pretty crazy stuff, and like I just want to get fucked up all the time right now. And she was like, okay, well, we had our conversation and she set me straight, and I went against doctor's orders and I just got back to work, and I don't think about it anymore. I'm good. You know, Probably need some therapy or something. Might be suppressing those thoughts with work, but it's
We probably all
working.
need that
So
therapy. That's why I got to keep
yeah,
working, man. Like
yeah,
I'm afraid of myself if I don't have anything to do. Like I go to dark places.
yeah,
I
man.
I chalk so much shit up on my plate that I do not have time to fail or fuck up or let anybody
Nope.
down. So
Yep.
when you
It's
were
a bad
talking about
neighborhood.
like I'm the last person that can fail because everyone
Yeah.
else is relying on me, I can relate to that 100%.
Yeah. Dude, I got guys that are trying to get sober right now that I've never even met. They've just like overheard my conversations or like, heard them secondhand, and they're like, "Can I talk to you? Like, will you be my sponsor?" And I'm like, "I don't know about being your sponsor, but I'll be your friend. Like, here's my phone number, dude. You feel like you getting the itch, like just call me. Call me instead. Come here instead of going and getting stuff." And there's a couple of people that I got even like that, and it's like, they got kids and they're using me as a crutch to help. Like they're trying to get to where I am from where I used to be because they're where I used to be. So like, what, I'm gonna let them down too? And I got kids, man. Like I got a 7-year-old up there. It's the only person in this country carrying on my family's last name. Well, would I go like trip up and mess myself up, and like that's what he has to look up to? Like I just like you're ruining the children. So yeah, that's the only choice I have is to just keep pushing forward and just try and be the baddest mother effer out there.
That's a good way to do it. I mean, you're setting an example for your kid, and I mean the fact that you're helping other people. I mean, that's awesome because so many
Yeah.
people out there don't have that resource. They don't have that guiding light. They don't have that, that positive figure in their life to say, hey, you know what? I'm in a shit place right now, but it's possible I can overcome it because somebody else has done it, and they're willing to share their roadmap. And it may not be the map that I need, but it's a good place to start.
Right, exactly. It's just like a lot of it's knowing that you're not alone. That helps a lot. Because if you're in that the darkness, as I call it, and you're trying to talk to somebody who's never lived that life, and they're like, I understand, dude, it makes it so much worse because it's like the messiest shit you've ever been through is your mom's purse. What are you talking about? You don't know what this is like. You don't know what I'm going through. So it's good to talk to somebody who has, because they do know, and you can relate to them and they can relate to you. It is tremendous, tremendous help. Like that. What's that one guy you had on? The big dude.
Oh, John
Doing,
Reslow.
yeah, his story was
Stacking
wild.
iron. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. That dude was. He built that plastic thing in his garage to play Xbox in.
Yeah.
And then when the lights turned out, he was screaming, and he just found out it was his eyes closing. I've been there, dog.
Yeah.
Meth
I'm
is
actually
crazy.
I'm getting ready to go see. I think he's going to be at the event. We're doing the Fabricator Olympics up in Bethlehem, PA, in a couple weeks. So I think he's
What?
going to be
What's that?
there. It's so my buddy Kevin Johnson, he does the Welding Business Owners podcast. So last year he did the Welding Fabricator Olympics up at his shop in PA. This time it's going to be at a school in Bethlehem, and it's basically he's got like these different challenges. Like I don't even know what it's going to be this year, but I'm a judge, so I'll show up and I'll get the grading criteria and what everybody's doing. Nobody knows what it's going to be. Last year it was a bunch of different things. You had to drill like a 1-inch hole through a 1/2-inch plate. Like 30, 40 people showed up, and everybody got like a brand new drill index, a drill, and you'd be surprised how many people can't drill a 1-inch hole in a 1/2-inch plate, or a 1/2-inch hole in 1-inch plate. Sorry.
That's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of steps to that. It's not a quick process.
There's that. He had that one. It was how many pieces of a 1/2-inch bar can you cut with a single cutoff wheel? They had one dude that was cutting for like an hour. I don't know how the hell he did it, but he cut out like 70 some odd pieces out of a 1/2-inch round bar with a single cutoff wheel.
I'd like to get this guy's information because these cutoff wheels ain't cheap no more.
No shit. But like just different. There was you had to take a piece of I think it was like 3/8 round bar, and it was you don't know how long it was, but you had to make it completely square. So you had to cut it into 4 pieces. Everybody got the same length bar. You have to cut it in 4 pieces, and you have to weld it up, and it's got to be square. And you're graded on squareness and accuracy. So if you cut one piece that's not equal to the other ones, and you don't have a tape measure, so a lot of it was like eyeball. The last part was you got to finally use a tape measure, a square, and cut off wheels, and you actually got to use some fabricator tools. The majority of it was by eye, and it was all off time, speed, and accuracy. And how close some of these folks got without having a tape measure, a square, or anything like that. It was crazy. Some of them showed up
like a good time.
Oh, it's a blast. I think registration's open right now. If you go, I think it's fabricatorolympics.com. Not a plug, but since we're on the topic, I think there's still tickets available, but I'm going up there next Thursday. So this episode will actually come out Monday. So this Thursday, I'll be flying up to PA to help them set up, and then I'll be judging the competition Saturday.
Talk about ego death. Going to something like that and just failing miserably.
Oh, there were people that flew in from out of state. There's a dude that drove 16 hours to get up there. It's nuts. But he gave, I think last year he gave out $1,000 cash plus a welding machine, hoods, jackets, all kinds of stuff. This year I think he's got more cash prizes, a complete fabricator package, which is like a welding machine, a hypertherm plasma cutter, and a bunch of other stuff. Everybody that participates gets a full kit of PPE from Lincoln Electric. It's a dope competition. And it's not like a typical welding competition. And it's open for spectators too.
Something else I wanted to touch on was the whole running your own business. Man, people think it's so easy. You know,
It's not
it
for the faint of
sucks.
heart. It does.
No, dude. There's days you go out to do your thing and you're like you're so defeated. You're like, why am I doing this? Like this isn't for me. I should pack all this up. Like, those days where
Hmm.
you just
What could I get for this place? if I had to
yeah,
sell it
like
right
what
now, what's this worth?
yeah, if I could sell my name off and everything, yeah, that would be yeah, it's hard, man. It's difficult. I hear it all the time. Like, yeah, I can just set my own hours. I'm like, yeah, uh-huh.
Sure you
Because
can.
there's like I get quite a bit of paid time off, even like, I still have my day job just because kids and hilariousness. But um, like I've taken an entire month off before, thinking like, oh, I'll get this done real fast. And then next thing I know, like I just pulled like 12s every day of that month, doing Arc Enemy and like managing everything and trying to stay on top of it all. It's really hard. It's super difficult. But it is super rewarding. So
Yeah.
anybody out there thinking about doing it, 100% full send. Just
It's like
don't give up.
my buddies always told me, like, hey man, if you're going to own your own business, it's awesome. You only have to work half a day. Like, oh, okay, cool. You pick which half, the first 12 hours of the day or the last 12 hours of the day, every day of the month.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's worth it because I've actually sat back and thought to myself, I'm like, why the hell am I doing this? And it's like, oh yeah, this is like just one shit day. But when I was working for somebody else, it was like a lot of shit days. And it was like,
Yeah.
this was my goal. And now I'm actually
Yep.
able to do what I put all that hard work and dedication and countless hours into. I'm doing that right now. And sometimes it's hard to see
Right.
the forest through the trees. And then you sit back and you're like, you know what? This is mine. Like nobody else is
Right.
responsible for this. I get to not come and go as I please because like I'm at the mercy of my
Oh, I think I
customers a lot of
lost you.
times or my clients. But like, are you still there?
Yeah, I can hear you now. There
Okay.
was a little break in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm at the
Maybe like,
mercy of my clients. So
yeah.
it's I have to be available when they need me. But I mean
Yep.
that's also awesome because I don't have to answer to anybody other than myself.
Yep.
So I mean there's
Oh,
pros
yeah.
and cons and it's owning a business is not for everybody and not everybody should go into business. You got to sit down and have that real conversation with yourself. Like do I
Yeah.
have the intestinal fortitude? Do I have the discipline? Do I have the reliability of myself to be able to get this done?
Yeah.
Because at most times you're the only one you can count on.
Yeah. Yep.
And you got to show up
Yeah.
every day.
Every day. It's all day, every day. So I know a guy that's a shop owner. He's already been through all the stuff that I'm in the middle of doing. His business is his full-time gig now. He's got employees and all that. And his workday stops at 5:30 and then he's done. Then Monday through Friday. Like he's made it to that point. And the other day he was like, "Man, I've just been so busy this week." And I was like, "My workday didn't stop at 5:30. I pulled an all-nighter and got like 4 hours of sleep in the last 3 days. Don't tell me about busy." And you just need to make a 30-second phone call to answer this question so I can finish this part for you. Yeah. I don't. It's the best thing. It's the most rewarding thing you could ever do, other than like kids and family stuff. But like
Oh,
for
for sure.
yourself, yeah, starting a business is the most amazing thing. It's just so hard. It's so difficult, and it's never ending. And then you've got the good customers, and you got the bad customers, and the bad customers make you want to weld up a killdozer and
Pack everything up.
demolish a town. Yeah, man. Yeah, pack it all up and send it away. But it's been fun. Like this Arc Enemy thing, man, it's taken me to places I never thought I'd go and like meet people that I never thought I'd meet, like straight heroes, like people that I grew up like, watching and idolizing. Like I've met a lot of them. And like to hear them like talk good about like my craft and what I do, it's incredible. I'm like, well, as of today, every childhood dream that I ever had has been accomplished. I've done them all. Now I'm setting new ones. Now I'm setting new goals and I'm raising all the bars. And I'm like, all right, we're either going to flop or we're going to make it. One of the two, but we're going to push it as far as we can possibly push it. And I'll tell you what, I'll I'll never let, drug head me out hustle me today. And I used to hustle with with no job, still partying all day, every day. So yeah, I can't let that happen. So I mean, I've got way more, tools in my disposal right now than I used to. So I'm utilizing it. I'm not taking advantage of one single day. But I've been on the other side, man. I've been at rock bottom. I know what it's like there. Now I want to know what the top's like.
Well, keep
And
hustling, man.
I'm
You're going to
out.
find out. I mean, you're close to cutting ties with your main job and going off full time on
Yeah,
your own. I mean, if
yeah,
your
we're getting
dreams
there.
aren't big enough, or if your dreams aren't scaring you, you're not dreaming hard enough or
Oh
big
yeah, they
enough.
scare the shit out of me. I'm
That's good.
terrified.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I can handle all that, man. But we'll see. That's what we're chasing for too. And I'm trying to help. Me and my wife, we lean on each other a lot. She's got her hair salon, so I lean on her a lot more than she's leaning on me because she's already been doing all this stuff for a while. Like I've had to fire some clients recently, um, which is really hard to do because like they're constantly bringing me stuff to make money on. But I had to fire them recently because it's like I just can't have that kind of nonsense around. I got to keep the riffraff out.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, dude,
Well, hell, before we get
that's
out of here, I mean, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? I know you do Instagram. I don't know if you've got other channels or anything like that. Your website. I mean, you're
just
selling pre-stock parts.
arcenemyfab.com, arcenemyfab.com. I've got some stuff on there for like the EcoBoost platform. I'm working on more stuff. Some trying to get some shirts, and I got shirts and hoodies on there right now, but it seems like the hoodies are always sold out. So that was print on demand. I'm getting ready to like order a stock because those do sell pretty well. Just don't order anything yet. Give me a couple weeks on merch.
Wait till the car's done.
But yeah, Arc Enemy Fab on Facebook and Instagram. It's a lot of reels of like weldings that seems to like draw people in. Which trying to get that free stuff.
Oh yeah,
Trying to get
trying to get
Everlast
sponsored here.
welders. Yeah, I need Everlast to send me a Typhoon. Just hint, send me a Typhoon. I'll do anything. Um, I got one of their welders here. I love it. It does everything my Miller that I had before did. I'll take a blue machine too. Um, yeah, I love it. The Everlast stuff's really good. They're all really good people. Actually, I got a story. I had 9 manifolds ready to weld, and it's like Tuesday. And I wake up and I go out there and I go to strike an arc, and it's like pulsing. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. What's happening? So I start fidgeting with everything that I can possibly figure out how to fidget with, and it's still doing it. So I called Everlast's tech support line, and they transfer me to this guy. And if they hear back at the story and get upset for me telling it, I'm super sorry. But they transfer me to this guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, your potentiometer's out." And I'm like, "Oh, is that bad?" He's like, "Yep, that's bad." And I'm like, "Dude, I got manifolds that have to ship Friday, like have to ship Friday. Like I'm in, like this is going to a distributor. Like I'm already behind. Like these, like I've already pushed the date back twice. Like there's no excuse. They gotta leave." And he's like, "Let me call you right back." So then some San Francisco number calls me, and it's like I hear wind in the background. And it says, "Dude, oh, the really thick Russian accent, I can barely understand him. Your welder sold out, but they got them at the port. They're putting them on the truck now. I'm on my way to get yours. Call Gretchen." So I call the office back, talk to Gretchen. I split shipping with them, and they overnighted me a brand new one.
They've got awesome customer service. I mean,
Yeah,
because shit's
I
going to
was
happen.
like,
Boards are going to pop. I mean, I've had issues with other companies, and it's
"Yep,
like you play hell trying to get parts. You play hell through the warranty thing. Oh, we need the serial
yep,
number. Oleg,
yep,
I mean, he's always been awesome. Anytime I've run into an issue with one of my machines, which I really haven't, but I mean, like we had some
yeah,
stuff when I was with Weld.com, and it was like, boom, next day, got it.
yeah, yeah." Is that his name? The Everlast guy, Oleg?
Yeah,
Oh, I'd love to meet him because they saved my butt with that.
come down
And
to FabTech, man. He'll meet you. He'll link up with you.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I love their stuff, and people on my Instagram page are asking me all the time, what welder are you using? What cups are you using? What turntable are you using? What material? And like, dude, all the people that I tag in my reels, I'm tagging them because I believe in their product. Like Stainless Bros and Tycon Industries, dude, that's the nicest material I've ever welded with. And I've been in aerospace for a long time. Everlast machines, dude, these things are incredible. Like if I can sit here and say that this like $4,000 setup will hang with my $9,500 Dynasty setup, I'm saying something.
Mm-hmm.
Like this machine's bad as shit. Yeah, everything I use it because I believe in it. I don't just use stuff because I like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's good quality stuff. And like Edge Welding Cups, it's a mom and pop shop. I guess they do like glass blowing as a family.
Yep.
Dude, their cups are gangster. Nothing against Michael Furick. I've met Michael a couple times. I love that dude. I think he's awesome. And I love his cups. But I really like the Edge stuff. I still use the Furick cups. I just use the Edge stuff more. It's just those are my thing. They work good for me. I like them. There's other good companies out there that make good stuff. I see other people using this stuff all the time. I want to get my hands on those black cups. I'm all black everything all the time. I think it's Simple Weld.
Oh, I haven't even seen that yet.
Yeah, dude, their cups are black ceramic. I was like, need that. But yeah, anyways, Arc Enemy Fab. I got some more stuff in the works. I'm gonna be switching it up a lot here soon and dropping some cooler stuff, cooler content. Yeah, man, I'm just a degenerate. I lost my way somewhere and found it again, and I'm just trying to do cool stuff. That's it. I'm not out here trying to act like I'm the best or I'm better than anybody else, because I'm not. I just want to do cool shit with cool people, and if you don't like it, we can throw hands.
There you go. Well, Scott, it's been awesome chatting with you, man. I mean, I know we chatted a little bit briefly on Instagram and stuff to line all this up, but yes, it's been awesome chatting with you, dude. I appreciate you taking the time out and kind of sharing your story. It wasn't all sunshine and roses, but I mean, it looks like you found your way and you're doing good shit now and helping other people and kind of paying it forward. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, dude. I've been listening to this podcast for a long time, and I'll be honest with you, I never in a million years thought I'd get the opportunity to be on here.
No, it's my pleasure, man.
Yeah, thank you. It means a lot, for real. And if there's anybody out there struggling, don't hesitate to shoot me a message, man. I'll talk your ear off all day if it means helping you.
Awesome, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gents, I hope you all enjoyed the show. If you're finding these episodes beneficial to your welding journey, please leave me a review on Spotify or Apple Podcast, and consider sharing the episodes with a friend. You can also stream episodes directly from my website, arcjunkies.com, and feel free to hit me up with any questions, comments, or concerns by sending an email to show@arcjunkies.com. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Stay safe out there, and until next time, make every weld better than your last.